Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you a few techniques to revise vocabulary effectively, going from word lists through sentences into full paragraphs. A very easy and straightforward activity to do to revise vocabulary is to copy a list of words 5 times both in English and in Spanish or French or any language by hand. Another good technique would be copying a list of words and then making them into the form of a table like this one, where you say the word, then you cover it, and then you write the Spanish, check if you guessed it right, and then write it again and check again, write it again and check it again. So you will be writing each word 3 times. A variant to the previous activity would be looking at the word. You would put your Spanish or French on the left hand side and the English on the right. Then you cover what you say the word, and in order to help you with pronunciation we have loads of videos on the YouTube channel. Then you cover the Spanish and translate the English into the Spanish. Then you check it, translate it now into English, check it, translate it into Spanish and check it. This activity is very useful for those of you who do not like copying words repeatedly. So we have 12 steps to follow, and the first step would be selecting 10 words to learn from your list. Step 2, copy out your list neatly onto paper. Write the Spanish and the English, or the French and the English. And you're only gonna copy this once. Step 3, read the Spanish and the English for each word. Remember that if you want to practice pronunciation, you need to go to the YouTube channel Gonzalez-Otero and have a look at the key topic that you want to work on. Step 4, repeat 3 times, reading the word in the Spanish and then in English. Step 5, cover up the English. Step 6, test yourself. You're going to start with the first word, hola, and then you translate it into English, hello, and so on. And if you're not sure, have a look at the answer. Step 8. If you get a word wrong or have to check, you need to start back at word number 1. You need to repeat the testing until you have got each word correct at least 3 times. Step 10. With the vocab that you've just learned, you're going to create flashcards with the English at the front and the Spanish at the back. Step 11. Lay all the flashcards on the table with the English facing up. Step 12. Say the translation of each word aloud in Spanish or in French if you're practicing French. If you guess it right, take the card away, and if you guess it wrong, look at the right translation and place it on the table again until you guess it right. If you really struggle with certain words, a very good idea would be to get some post-it notes, write the words that you struggle with, and then put the post-it notes around your house. Once you've chosen the words that you want to revise, you're going to lay them on a desk with the English facing upwards and then the Spanish or the French at the bottom. In this case, we're going to practice a bit of French. You're going to lift the first card, which says we can see, and in French we say on peut voir. I guess it right, so I'm going to put it on the right pile. Then parc, which is le parc, or un pack, yes, correct. The market, le marché, correct. A shop for clothes. For example, I'm not so sure about this one. I think it's un magasin de vêtements. And yes, it is correct, but I doubt it a little bit. So I'm just gonna put it down here again, just in case. To go for long walks. Imagine I don't know the translation for this. I'll have a look at this at the back. So it means faire de longues promenades. And then I'm gonna put it on the pile for words to go back to. Leisure activities. Imagine I don't know this one either. I look at it, les loisirs, and then put it on the go back pile. To go to the supermarket. Aller au supermarché. Correct? After that, I don't remember. Après c'est là. So, wrong pile. A restaurant. Un restaurant. Correct? Theater. Le théâtre. Yes. And this or that, beginning of a sentence pronoun referring to something previously said. Cela. Correct. And then a shop for clothes, un magasin de vêtements. I know it, so to the right pile. Once you get all of them right, you can just move them away and forget about them. And we're going to revise a little bit with the 3 words that I'm not sure about. How do I revise? Well, I can just take a piece of paper or a whiteboard and have a look at the words and just copy them a few times. So, for example, leisure activities, les loisirs. Leisure activities, les loisirs. So, imagine I've got another card, or imagine this is a piece of paper. I'll just put leisure activities, and it's les loisirs, leisure activities, les loisirs, and so on and so on. You just write it a few times. Another good idea if you're stuck with certain words is to use post-it notes and then stick them in different objects of the house or different places of your house. So, leisure activities, les loisirs. To go for long walks, imagine I remember a little bit of the word, so I'm not sure. Is it faire de longues promenades? But I'm not sure. And even if you guess it right at this stage, unless you are 100% sure, you're gonna keep these cards and you're gonna use them on the next day. So you're gonna put it on a different pile, and on the next day when you go for your next round, so for example at about 8 o'clock, afterwards, really when you're doing the same thing, you're just gonna lay them on the table again, and then you start over following the same on the day after. So try to aim for about, just because this is revision, just aim for about 20 new words every lesson or every session that you do. And then I'm gonna start over and I'm gonna do the same thing. So if you're stuck with words, just keep them until the end. Now, the day before the exam, 2 days before the exam, you're gonna use all of your flashcards and revise all of them just in case you don't recall any of them. That's basically what you do. Now, imagine on the day before, you just want to revise a lot of words because you know most of them, but there is a couple that you struggle with. Well, you don't need to just use one flashcard. So you're going to use one flashcard for each word. You're going to use just one flashcard with a list of words. Once you know your keywords, we're going to move up to the next level, which are sentences, and finally, to the biggest level, paragraphs. Imagina ahora que tienes que estudiar una presentación sobre tu región. Entonces, El primer paso sería escribir las primeras 3 líneas en una tarjeta y la traducción por atrás. So imagine you need to revise a whole topic or a series of questions about a certain unit. For example, describing your region. You need to take different cards for each paragraph or for each bullet point or idea that you want to learn. For example, we have started with introduction for where do you live? For that question. I live in Newcastle, a mining city in the northeast of England. I love Newcastle because there are loads of things to do. For example, going to the art gallery. Imagine you cannot cope with all of this vocab. The first thing for you to do is to highlight key things at the back of your sheet that you find that may be a little bit difficult. So, for example, vivo en Newcastle, una ciudad minera, en el noreste de Inglaterra. Me encanta Newcastle porque, I know this structure I struggle with, hay mucho que hacer. Por ejemplo, ir a la galería de arte. So you highlight the things that you struggle with or you underline them with a different color. Then you take your flashcards. So you can take one flashcard for each of them or just one for, I like to put 4 words. So I like to do it like this. I live in mining there's loads to do, and then going to the art gallery. And then you go to the back of your card and you translate them. So, vivo en una ciudad minera. Hay mucho que hacer. And ir a la galería de arte. You can do it in this way. Sit down, copy the list of words again a few times, 5 times, and then translate them until you remember I live in, and then it's vivo en, mining, minera, there's lots to do, hay mucho que hacer, going to the art gallery, ir a la galería de arte, or make just individual flashcards. So once you know these words, then you can start having this in front of you. And then I live in, oh, how was it? I live in, vivo en, you check here, yes. Vivo en Newcastle, a mining city, a city, mining, una ciudad, mining, minera. Imagine you don't remember the word. Well, then the next thing that you need to do is to add that to your pile of cards for revision. Mining, minera. And then you would add this to your I need to go back to words. There is lots to do, or there are a lot of things to do. Hay mucho que hacer. And then going to the art gallery, ir a la galería de arte. Now, once you know your keywords, first via writing them lots of times and then putting them on a flashcard with 4 words on each flashcard, and going through the ones that you struggle with, then that's when you will be able to go back to this and say, okay, I live in, vivo en, Newcastle, una ciudad minera. If you struggle with a word so much, just change the word. Just say, instead of saying a mining city, just say a touristic city. Una ciudad turística. When it comes to a speaking task or a writing task, you can just change it for any sort of word that you retrieve or you remember. Or it could just be an interesting city, una ciudad interesante en el noreste de Inglaterra. Me encanta Newcastle porque, and then if you still struggle with this, there are a lot of things to do. Hay mucho que hacer. Por ejemplo, going to the art gallery. And then you would go over and over repeating this, but it is very, very difficult to just try to memorize a whole chunk. Just highlight, get a highlighter, get a different color pen, anything that you think is going to help you, and then highlight the things that you want to go back to. There are a lot of things to do, or going to the art gallery. So you would have all of your cards over there prepared. Remember, if you're stuck with a structure, copy that a few times, revise them a few times, use the YouTube videos that we've got in the channel, or simply change what you want to say. I got these flashcards from a local supermarket and I absolutely love them because they are very handy. They come with this elastic band to keep them in place, then the ring, which allows you to open it and remove the cards and put them back in. And then this is plastic, so they are very handy when it rains, for example, or just put it in your bag in case you spill something, the cards don't get damaged. And then on the inside, then you've got the cards, and there is a bunch of them, enough for a whole topic potentially of words. What I like to do is, for example, I would use different colors for different topics. So this one I've got for the free time topic. This section is about food. Then I will use the green one, for example, for the environment topic. And this one you can use for, I don't know, like family and friends. This one about technology. And then you've got different ways of organizing your flashcards, which, by the way, you can just do manually. So you can just get a piece of A4 paper, split it in 4, and then write the words. Use a hole punch, and then just use any sort of like cord or thread that you've got, or wool maybe, and just make them. I use an elastic hairband for that. But these cost me £1 each. They were on sale on the supermarket and in Asda, and I think it's absolutely brilliant, very economic, and really straightforward and easy to go for your revision, not only for Spanish or French, but just any subject.